Hey guys, welcome back to 784. I'm out here with Brandon tonight. Tonight we're going to do a podcast style. We're going to sit down and talk to Brandon and talk about the race coming up this weekend, race number 2 of the Gncc series, the 2025 season. And we're going to discuss what's went on the last couple of weeks since we've left South Carolina and what we've done to prepare, that kind of stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about the weather, sand conditions, got some questions that you guys sent in. I appreciate you guys sending in the questions, and that's what this is about. We're going to sit down. It's going to be raw. We're going to try not to edit anything out unless we say a bad word or something like that. But for the most part, we're going to try to be raw. Try to keep it under 30 minutes if we can, Brandon. I know sometimes you get long-winded.
Yeah,
for sure. Brandon did pick up the camera the other day, as you guys well saw. If you guys been watching our videos, Brandon did pick up the camera, and I was really, really happy for that. And if you guys haven't watched the videos, go back. So we posted a couple videos this week of riding, that kind of stuff. And I'm excited. I'm excited about things to come. I'm excited about the race season and what's been going on, that kind of stuff. And I can't wait, to be honest with you. And we got a lot of content because we're doing a lot of the stuff ourselves now, and got Brandon over quite a bit. So I'm excited. I know I'm long-winded. I can't even get you in. Can't get your word in.
For everybody saying that I don't talk that much, that's why. I can't even speak. It just rocks out. So.
I'm so excited, Brandon. Hey, listen, you know I shot out of a cannon.
Yep.
I got so much stuff on my brain just doesn't stop.
Yep.
And sometimes that gets me in trouble. So let's talk about you, Brandon. That's the reason why we do this deal, is because of you. And how's it been since the last time we left them all? Well, we did a couple videos, so there's a couple race or a couple practice videos out there of us shock testing and all that kind of stuff. But doing a lot of that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't remember exactly where we left off from the podcast specifically, but from riding, we've been doing a bunch of riding in the past few videos, as y'all can tell. But yeah, I mean, the past week has been nothing but Brandon actually feels good. He's about 90, 95%. He's still not 100%, but he feels really good. I'm really happy with the progress I've made in the past 2 weeks since Union, South Carolina, round 1 of the Gncc series. And I feel really good. I'm happy with where I'm at. We did a lot of shock testing because obviously Florida, we run a different setup, and we really didn't have a setup for Florida, which is pretty shocking for us and probably for y'all too, because we live here. This is, I mean, my backyard sand. So just haven't set up a bike specifically for Florida racing, and or spent the time to do it.
Right.
I guess I've been more focused on dirt because 90% of our races are on dirt or up north, I guess you would call it. But yeah, I'm very happy with the shock testing we've done this week. We spent a lot of time doing it, so I'm very happy.
So what was it, Sunday morning, I think we'd come out here and we was going to do some shock testing or something, and I mentioned you. I said, damn, don't it feel good not to be sick?
Yeah.
It was an awesome feeling, just come out and have some energy to be able to do something.
No doubt.
And we still got a little bit of a cough, and every now and then you'll see us coughing or whatever, but for the most part, man.
Yeah, I feel a lot better. And
it's unbelievable.
It's crazy what a difference, like you just wake up and you feel better. It's you don't realize that you're at 80% until you get better. It's crazy to realize that.
Right. Yeah. And as far as shock testing, yeah. So we so we'll tell you. So what we done is Brandon, like he told you. So we've been trying some different stuff and just trying to come up with a better setup on sand. And Brandon's pretty much run what he had, down here on practice and all that stuff. But listen, this year we want to be a little bit serious about it, and and try to be the best we can be at every single round with what we have in front of us.
Yep.
And we didn't have a set of shocks that you liked that didn't bottom out, or they didn't try to scoop dirt.
We couldn't figure out how to get the four-wheeler to handle whoops. And
right.
I mean, right now I'm very, very confident in the four-wheeler. I did actually testing today with my buddy Joey Ponte, and had a good time. Went down there, hung out. He was shock testing too, actually, for round 1. And
he's a Florida guy.
Yeah. So we went down to
it never stops.
Another piece of property that I ride at every now and again. Not often, but every now and again I ride at it. And that place is rough. And
did you find the whoops down there?
Yeah,
you wanted?
I know I've been saying I've been looking for rough, and that place down there has it. There's no doubt that.
Has it ever been graded?
Nope, never been groomed. I think there's been a lot of riders that have ridden that piece of property in the past 6-7 years, I'd probably say, and it's never been groomed. So a lot of the Gncc XC1 Pros and XC2 riders come down there, and it's an open property, so we go down there and ride and that kind of thing. So
yeah, no, but so the way it started out is we got a hold of our folks at Gncc Racing.
Yep.
Santo spoke with Santo, and he said, "Hey man, yeah," and he understands what we're trying to achieve here. He said, "Overnight me the shocks," which we did last Monday, Tuesday, and
I know it was right after South Carolina because we talked about doing it going home.
Yeah,
we had that conversation, and we're trying to figure stuff out because we knew we didn't have a setup for round number 2, and I think it was Monday we sent him out, or we tried to do
Tuesday. I spoke with him on Monday. He said, "Yeah, I understand what you guys are trying to do." So I overnighted them on Tuesday. He got them Wednesday. He repaired them, overnighted them back to me. We got them on Friday.
I think it was Friday. Yep.
Yeah, we got them back on Friday.
We got them Friday, and I've been riding every day, every day on them shocks since.
Yeah.
Just to try to get them for perfect.
Yeah. So we bolted them on, and of course they weren't exactly what we wanted, and they never are, and it wasn't nobody's fault. It's just that there's always fine tuning.
There's fine tuning. One clicker makes a difference. So
really,
it
does.
It really, all that stuff adds up, and just like you were saying, ride height makes a huge
an eighth of an inch
too.
on ride height. Brandon can, I don't know. He feels all
I feel
that.
all
He
of it.
understands
so
all
every
that.
every little detail that we do. I mean, them shocks right now are set up for exactly how I want it to feel at round 2. So
yeah, but a lot of hours. So our brand new quad is no longer. It's sitting back here. It's no longer a brand new quad. So
I mean, it's still a great thing. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think.
But it didn't matter. We figured out that we are building these things. We're going to ride them.
Yeah.
Okay. And we wear these out. We'll build another one. So our biggest thing is we want to get better, and our team get better. And Brandon sort of knows what he wants in an ATV and how he wants it to handle. So Brandon went today, which is Tuesday. Brandon went today, and so that quad is done riding. Brandon, you were pretty satisfied with it today. He went down with Joey Ponte down south and found some big whoops. So Brandon doesn't like the whoops that I made out here. Yeah. So I made it too smooth.
Really happy with it. So I'm excited. I really am.
Yeah. So basically, we're going to, after this, we're going to get the quad torn down and get it cleaned up. Get a new OEM Can-Am Renegade belt put on there, and we're prepping that thing, and we're going to try to get up to Hogwaller and have a great weekend. Got CJ coming. Got some of his friends coming. We got a lot of folks from Florida Trail Riders coming, and this is our home track.
Yeah, we only have one of these, so a lot of the other guys have a lot of home tracks. So for me, this one means a little bit more than most of the others, just because all the people there, the fans that supported me since I've been a little kid, they're there. It's just a fun time. I enjoy it. I believe I'm the only Florida pro rider, so it makes me feel a little bit special and that kind of thing. Just going to the event and that kind of stuff. So
Brandon, you won this race last year.
Yes.
So you and Collier had a good battle there. Yep. Your bike went in limp mode. We overheated a little bit last season or last year. The other thing with Florida is it drags the quads down so bad it makes them run hot.
Yes.
Basically, so because the sand is so deep, it just drags them down. Now the weather's supposed to be 70 degrees, which is really, really nice for us. And but you was the winner of last year of this particular race. What do you look like? What do you think it's coming in this way? I want to back up. We got 2 inches of rain yesterday, and we're 182 miles south of that track.
Yep.
That track is in Florida.
It's still north.
Yeah, it's in North Florida. We are in Central Florida. So it's exactly 182 miles from Hogwaller to our driveway. So it's still quite a ways, but we personally got here 2 inches of rain.
Yeah.
I dumped it out of the gauge this morning yesterday, and it was a slow rain that happened all during the day, which he was going to shock test yesterday, but didn't get a chance because it was raining.
Yes.
So that's
so
the
put
reason
us
why
a day behind.
It's a day behind.
But yeah, I'm excited going into round number 2. Obviously,
you think it'll be
Florida.
muddy?
I don't think it's going to be muddy at all.
No.
I think we needed the rain, and the rain's going to really help the place, to be honest with you. We went and ran today where we got 2 inches of rain, and dirt was perfect. To be honest, I wish it would rain a little bit on Friday when we're there. Not just because I don't want it to rain while we're there, I guess, but just for
before
the track,
we get there, it'd be nice.
For the track purposes, it would make the track up bet even better. Obviously, this place is a mud park, so they will have mud holes. I don't know if they will run us through that, like they have in years past.
Last year, you guys sort of darted around it. That they sort of kept you out of it.
We didn't go directly through it, but we went around it for the most part. We could go through it if we wanted to, but for the most part, the track went around it. Just that one little area, but the rest of the track's freaking all sand and all whoops, which that's what I've raced my whole life. So I feel pretty confident going into it. My body feels good. I've done all my nutrition. I've done everything I could do. I'm still not 100% where I want to be or where I even wanted to start the season at. But I feel a lot better than where I was at the
first
one.
round. Yes, for sure. You and I both were just our confidence like, well, we got the first round out of here too, and that was all jittery bug and that kind of stuff. And so we got the first round out. Now we're into the second round, and we're all excited. So we got some of that behind us, but. I don't think I don't think there is ever an ATV rider that their ATV is perfect and they're perfect. It just never happens. So all we can do is focus, which is what we discussed yesterday, or day before yesterday when you and I was shock tested on Sunday. There's a fine line. You got to give up here to gain there. You got to give up there to gain back there.
I was told when I was a younger kid that out of 100% of the races you race, probably about 10% of them is going to go correct. The other 90, you're going to have something go wrong. Either maybe brake issues, clutch issues. I mean, obviously, tire flat, just random stuff. You never know. But you still got to be able to overcome that and figure it out.
Yeah, so what happens obviously in Florida, what happens is like the first 2 laps, you guys will start, obviously on the front row. And it'll be pretty much an open track. But then what happens is the dang dirt down here, it gets to be a slot track. Yeah. When we say a slot track, I mean, I'm talking about 2 ruts.
Holes get deep. There's really one way through the whole racetrack, which makes it hard for lappers, which you were getting into.
Yeah. So what happens is when Brandon and the folks catch up to lappers, they try to move out of your way, but they physically can't because they are on this train track.
The track has them pretty much stuck in.
And if they try to get up out of that rut, sideways. Then they get stuck, and it creates a bottleneck. So we don't necessarily have the mud or the hill climb bottlenecks like you see up north, but down here what will happen is, or either the rider will be going extremely slow, and their sport quad bottoms out, and then they just free spin. So there's bottlenecks, and then when you do come up to one of those bottlenecks, there's not a lot of ways around except running over palmettos.
Yeah, obviously most of the track that we're on is a trail that's been ridden for years and past, and so it's like sand. It's like kind of how I explained out here, where the track is, it's sand. The rest, like right to the right or the left, is palmettos woods because it hasn't been ran through.
Right. So that's one thing that people fail to realize. It's just it's not balls to the wall like hauling butt through sand whoops, because you end up encountering lappers and they physically cannot get out of your way. They try and they want to, but they just can't. You know what I mean? So you got to wait. So this race, it can go back and forth. You can have a 2-minute lead and it can all dissipate in one lap. So you come up on one of them. So it's going to be a very interesting race. I'm very, very excited.
It's always been a pretty interesting race for, I think, even XC1 guys too. Same thing. I mean, it's just, you never know what goes on. There's a lot of endurance involved in this race. It takes a lot of ability and that kind of thing to be able to get through the 2-hour event, because it is very draining on the body. So sometimes you have people kind of crash out that last lap and you can catch the leader that way. I mean, there's all kinds of different things, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and was it last year we was up there? They had timbered a lot of the woods, so the woods looked a lot different than what they've been in the past. I'm not
very
sure.
Very similar still, but yes, a little different.
We haven't been since, I guess, last year. Florida Trail Riders used to have a race there, a local race.
Not anymore.
They don't, or they didn't. They've not had one this past season. So we've not seen the property since the last GNCC, but I'm not sure if they did any more timbering. I don't know. But anyway, it's going to be very interesting when we get there to see. We will be parked on 4x4 Pro Row again. And we've got a big, massive tent that Elite Graphics built us and made us, really, really beautiful. So it says Pro Row 784. In fact, it's got this logo on each side of it. You guys are more than welcome to come by and see us. We're going to try to get there sometime on Friday morning, possibly. and set up. So we'll be there through the duration on Saturday. The other thing we do on the Florida round is we typically stay and watch the afternoon race, XC1 race, and then we usually just hang out a little bit before we decide to head home. Now, we may end up staying the night Saturday night up there. Depends. There's
on how we're
Supercross
feeling,
going on. There's a
thing.
bunch of other stuff going on
So
over
it depends.
in Daytona.
We may hang out and just hang out with the people that are coming for us and that kind of stuff. And just
We've got a lot of folks coming.
Just enjoy it because we can't do it at that many races. Obviously, really none of the other races we're going to stay a Saturday night. Obviously, the Florida race we can just because it is a little bit closer.
It's a little bit closer. It's still 182 miles, which is it's still a
but
ways.
For most
of
the people, this is the race is really far. So it's a little different situation for us compared to most.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I don't want these things to go very long because I don't want to lose people's interest and all that kind of stuff. I just want to come on here. We're going to try to do these every Tuesday. So next Tuesday, you guys tune in. We're going to do our race report. Obviously, the hog water race report.
Race report, and they're going to double it up.
Oh, what now?
Because Tuesday we got a race next Tuesday.
Oh, true. So
we'll have to do both.
Interesting. Yeah. So obviously, this will be the only time that we got to. So we're going to do a race report and a. Now that Talladega race is going to be very simple because
we have no idea.
We have no idea. We do know it's at the NASCAR Talladega track, which is pretty cool. I don't think it's nothing associated with that, like parking on the track. I don't think we're doing none of that. I think it's an adjacent field or something like that. But it is going to be nostalgic to go there and hang out and do all that. But yeah, you're right. So the other thing is the last time we did one of these was last Tuesday. I asked folks to send in some questions, and we did get some. I did answer some of them on the YouTube. Whenever they'd ask them, I'd respond to them. But they're, I don't want to get crazy, but there's like 3 or 4 questions that I got wrote down here that I want to ask you. So the first question is viewers wanting to know nutrition. We talk about nutrition. This is a big thing, no different than that ATV sitting over there. You are 80% of the bike is 20%.
Yep.
You've got to have both. You can't have a 5% quad. We know that, okay?
Yep.
But most guys on the 4x4 Pro road line, we all have the same quad. Honestly, it's the same same stuff. We use the same vendors. A lot of us use the same vendors. So then it comes down to the racer themselves, which is what we liked about this kind of racing, anyways, because it's a lot on you. So mainly they're wanting to know your eating habits. Like for instance, we could talk about maybe a Friday night before the race. We could talk about a Saturday morning.
We'll
just give us an idea of what you do.
Throughout the week, it's kind of all over the place. But we'll talk about the weekend because that's normally, I'm pretty strict on myself for sure, Friday, Saturday. So I normally my go-to for Friday night, we'll go with Friday night because that's the most important, I think, one of the most important meals before a race. Friday night, I eat steak and potatoes. That's kind of been my go-to thing. Last year, we were big on going to, what's that restaurant called?
I'll think of it here in a minute.
Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, Texas Roadhouse.
Big on going to Texas Roadhouse. My favorite. And I always got a steak and potatoes. That was always my go-to, and then I had a salad before the meal. That was always a Friday night thing, and we done that, and I felt really good. And then we wake up Saturday morning. I go with my go-to is 2 eggs, and
you scramble them, or how do you do them?
I normally do it over medium. It's normally my go-to for that. And then I normally try to eat some fruit in the mix of that, not directly with breakfast, but shortly after breakfast. Normally while I'm watching either the youth race, I'll be eating an apple or something. You'll see me eating a banana or some strawberries or something. Probably during the youth race is when I do that. And then we go into right before, or normally like an hour before the race, my go-to is a peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Yes. A lot of people do that. I'm pretty sure I learned it from somebody in the pro class, and they told me to do it. And I've been doing it kind of ever since then. And that really helps me, I feel like, during the race. That's my nutrition from Friday night to
race time.
Yeah. There's really nothing else I eat. I don't eat a bunch of sugary things. I don't eat none of that kind of stuff. Pretty clean and simple. I feel like pretty simple diet and nothing crazy.
No, I'll ask you. So, for instance, during the race, we do a hydration drink and all that stuff. I had somebody not this particular time, but they asked me. So you do the brand called Goo.
Yeah.
And there's people that do different.
And there are so many other
ones.
companies. I've done the research on a lot of them. The reason we did choose Goo over most of them, and that's what I've been doing for the past
Been a while.
a while.
Yeah.
For a while now, probably 5-6 years. The reason we did that was because of my diabetes. We noticed that it had more sugars in it than most of them, and it seemed to help me the most. We tried a few others that really didn't work as well.
You had a couple that did your stomach too, that upset your stomach.
That upset my stomach. I don't know what I got going on, but so the Goo's really been helpful for me during the races. But there's so many other companies out there that do
What's your favorite flavor?
Grape.
Grape.
Grape is my go-to.
Grape's Brandon's flavor. You bring up diabetes. Let's talk about diabetes. So
Yes.
that has a big part of why you chose Goo.
Yes.
And that kind of stuff. So for you, Goo does have a lot of sugar in it, and got a lot of other stuff
Yes.
in it. Okay, all these energy drinks or them hydration drinks and all that kind
But
of stuff.
a lot of the companies, if you really look into it, a lot of them have no sugar, which is not really good for me being a diabetic because it's kind of hard to explain, but I'll kind of explain it as simply as I can. For me as a diabetic, I start my sugar out around like 200 to 220. And obviously when I use a lot of energy,
carbohydrates,
sugars, that kind of thing, obviously my sugars goes down. I don't have anything to keep my sugars balanced. So what I have to do is get a drink in the middle of the race that spikes my sugar back up because it is on the decrease. When I start at 220, it's going down when it starts the race. And in the middle of the race, we kind of play it back out and even it back out so it doesn't go low. Because obviously if it goes low, it affects my race. And then obviously if it goes too high, it'll affect my race as well. So It's a fine line. It's a balance that I've learned over the past.
So how long you had diabetes?
I've had it since I've been 9. I'm 23 now.
Yeah.
So
that's how long we've been. And you were racing when you was 9.
Yep.
Well, we got it a week before we left to go to Snowshoe.
Yep.
Or you were in the hospital, and that's when we found out in that particular
and
year.
I've learned a lot over I don't know how many years it is.
We've learned how to manage it
and learned how to manage it. I think 14 years and learned
and still learning some stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's some times that it'll be a cold day or extremely hot day.
It affects it.
It affects everything. So what happens is, a normal person like myself walking around, what am I at, 110? Probably.
Yeah, you're 90 to 110.
Okay, so that's a typical person, and we're talking about insulin levels like carbohydrates, and it's basically if I eat a piece of cake, my carbohydrate, got a lot of carbohydrates, my sugar goes through the roof, then my pancreas produce insulin, which combats that and neutralizes it, and
manages it.
And it manages it and gets it back down to the 110.
You don't have to worry about it because you have something managing it. I don't. I don't have a pancreas, or I have a pancreas, but it doesn't produce any insulin or doesn't work. And so I have to manage it
through
for myself.
Insulin. So Brandon gets shots in his arms, shots in his legs on a daily. Yeah. How many shots do you get a day? I mean, when we call it a shot, it's a
little needle
it's a small
with
needle.
Insulin and 4 shots a day.
Yeah, 4 to 6 depending on what you eat.
And then I check it at least 6 times a day just to make sure I'm managing it well enough.
Makes you prick your finger and you got a little gauge that tells you. Now there's a lot of gimmicks that some of the people have. Yeah, they got the little pumps. And
if anybody knows a little bit about diabetes, there's Dexcom out there. That's a really good. It works. It works really well. We just had a few issues with it that we just felt like the traditional way was the best way to make sure we had no issues with it, kind of thing. So
yeah. So diabetes for you has been a big player for us, and there's some times that fourth lap you just gas and you come in and you've got beads of sweat on you, and mom knows when you're like that, and obviously you do too.
And it's aggravating because when you're racing, you want to perform at 100%, but if my sugar levels are off, it affects my whole race, and I can't race like how I normally would. So from me going from 100%, I go down to 50%. Right. It's just I can't perform like I want. So
if you're up on the podium eating a Twinkie or something, nobody's gonna say anything because they'll understand.
Yeah.
You got to have sugar, and there's times that my mom's made you eat cookies and everything.
Yeah. You even see sometimes even after the race, I'll take another hydration drink as well. just to make sure it doesn't drop.
Right. All right, so I had several guys reach out. They want to know where they could purchase 784 gear or Brandon Frazier gear or Pro Row 8 784 gear. How do you answer that? We're working on it.
Yeah. It's not something y'all can do now.
No, but we've got some stuff. We got hats and some shirts and some other stuff.
We got our personal gear that we give out and that kind of thing, but to specifically sell and that kind of stuff, we have not gotten to that point yet.
We're working on it. We've got a guy that's helping us working on it, trying to get it all set up, and got some great ideas that we want to do. We want to sell different things off the ATV, bumpers and maybe belts or maybe a tire, that kind of stuff with Brandon signing it. There's some different. There's a lot of wild things that we want to do.
What do you call it? Memorabilia.
Memorabilia, yeah. However, how you say that.
This stuff,
just little stuff,
something different that you normally don't get.
Remember last year, who was it? The pros took their damn fenders
off.
The
front fenders.
Now we're not going to do that because our fenders are like
they're
$2,500. You know what I mean?
Really that much,
but anyway, but we might take a hubcap off and give to them, or a wheel cover with a number 1 on it or something like that. So we're going to try to get creative because we want to you guys support us. And we want to give back to y'all. So we're working on some of that stuff, okay? We're working on some promotional stuff, and it's coming, but I just don't know when, and I can't promise you when. But for the most part, right now, we do have things that we can give out. We do have some shirts and some hats and that kind of stuff, and Brandon tries to give away some of that stuff, mainly on the podium, that kind of stuff or whatever. But anyway, we had that question, and I just don't know how we're gonna. I don't know how we're going to operate and do that just yet, but there's a lot of license. There's a lot of stuff involved that you just can't put it up on the website and sell it, or to be legal because we are a race team. So anyway, we're trying. So all right. Other than that, I don't want to get bogged down. Because I don't know how long we've been talking on here. I didn't even time it, but I don't want to go crazy on time, you know what I mean? But anything else you want to say as far as are you done riding then? Tonight's Tuesday. Are you done riding?
Most likely yes. I may actually, I am done riding. Yeah, I'm not riding anymore this week. Mainly I would ride. I wouldn't be afraid to ride tomorrow. But I'm not going to ride this week because it's Florida.
Yeah,
just
and
because
we got work we got to get done too.
Yeah,
so.
But there's a lot of like I was explaining to you. Use a lot of energy for Florida round. So trying to store as much as I can. Not go too crazy in the gym this week. Trying to hydrate, all that kind of stuff because it's important. It's definitely important.
Yeah, you're extremely important. So I want to tell the folks again, we're parked on 4x4 Pro Road. Please come by and see us. We're going to be there, try to be there on Friday and get set up and everything. Brandon will probably, you'll probably bike the track.
Yeah, I'll
bike
the track. I'll be out there somewhere.
So Brandon will be going for a little stint, and then we'll be back on Friday night at some point, or Friday afternoon at some point. You guys come by and see us. Saturdays is sort of hectic, but you guys still come by and see us if you want to. Typically, we're getting the quad ready. Normally, when we load it up, and it's not done now because he just rode it this afternoon. But we're going to be ready to go when we roll it out of the trailer for the most part.
Yeah, it'll be ready to go. We do tire pressures normally and fuel it up and
ready to rock out. Yeah. So we're going to have all that stuff done. But you guys want to come by on Saturday, you can come by on Saturday too. But really would love to see you guys. And if you guys see Brandon on the side of the track and you're standing on the side of the track, you put your big hand out and wave at him or something like that, because that motivates Brandon for sure. And he knows that he's going to have a lot of fans here in Florida on the side of the track everywhere.
No doubt.
So we're excited for that, and I'm excited for things to come. I had a good time last weekend racing in South Carolina, and it all went very well. Taking the little motorhome again and the puppy, so we're excited about that. So anything else? You good? Yeah, I enjoy this.
Yeah.
You enjoy it? I enjoy just hanging out and sitting around talking, you know what I mean? There's going to be a time where I want to interact with people, and I'm not sure how we do that. I'm not sure if it's a live thing or what, but there may be a time where we interact. All right, you guys listen. So tonight's Tuesday, so we're going to do another one next Tuesday. If you guys want to ask questions, please send them to me. Send them to our Pro Row 784 YouTube channel. You can find Brandon. You can find me on Instagram, or it's usually under our names, or on Facebook. You guys make sure you send in any questions. Don't know a lot about Talladega, so we don't really know. Go ahead.
Talk about it Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll talk about it Tuesday. So you guys, appreciate you guys watching. Until next time on Tuesday, we'll see y'all.